Think about how much you rely on your smartphone. You're watching us from it right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Now imagine if I used that to just fuck up your life. Welcome.
I don't have to imagine.
Oh, yeah, there we go. I mean, I probably
You get a redo.
right back into it. Yes.
I'm living it
He's
right
like-
now.
That's all Golden ever does is use my cell phone to mess with me. I gotta watch dumb things all the time. All right, so welcome to this episode of Horror Dork, where we're going to be talking about Unlocked, the movie on Netflix.
Yes.
Was not what I was expecting, but it happens. Actually, it happens a lot. I don't think I ever
Probably. I'm Golden. I'm guessing you probably watched the wrong movie.
Yeah, it was where like this.
And Unlocked is a pretty innocuous title.
It was about this guy. He's in this cage and he's like trying to get it unlocked. And then he comes out of the cage. I don't know.
Oh, you watched the right movie. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're here talking
That's
about the
Unleashed.
South
Oh,
Korean
it is Unleashed.
thriller.
I-
Unlocked.
So we're not talking about Jet Li this whole time.
Bob Hoskins,
He's a good dog.
etc.
When Mario has
No comment.
Good movie. Though.
yeah, it's the movie where Mario has the dude from the
Wait, Enter the
Expendables
Dragon?
in what? Now we're now we're going off the rails. What?
All right. I'm Mr. Sir.
Kiss of the Dragon.
This is
Kiss the Dragon. Yeah.
this is Anthony.
Hello.
This is Golden.
Hi.
We're Horror Dork, and we're talking Unlocked.
Sure, like let's just can we actually do
from
an intro?
2023. It's currently streaming on Netflix. It is this is a Japanese horror movie?
South Korean.
South Korean? I'm sorry.
Psychological
Never
horror.
pay attention to me. I said it at the top of the show.
I
Did not have Jet Li.
In my defense, both of you guys were talking at the same time, and I could not hear what either one of you were saying.
That's his defense mechanism. Once we start talking, he just shuts down.
Yes. Yeah, he just tunes us out.
Well, now that there's a video element, you can literally see like you literally
eyes
see the
glaze
moment,
over.
the moment I stop paying attention.
It's just like
so what did you think this movie was going to be about? You keep
I mean-
saying that it wasn't what you were expecting. What were you expecting?
I was expecting something supernatural.
Okay.
Honestly, and that's just because for the most part, the horror movies that I watch that are from that location are supernatural horror movies. In fact,
Right.
how many of you have we watched now for
Eastern-
the show?
Eastern
Like,
cinema.
like
right. Yeah.
usually when you guys suggest
Incantation.
or like, hey, we're gonna watch this movie, I watch it and there's something supernatural going on. So I just kept waiting. I kept waiting for the ghost. The ghost never came.
No, this is
There was a lot of dead people, but no ghost.
this movie has like one of those tropes.
No money chats.
This movie has one of those tropes that that always makes me feel really anxious when I watch a movie, and it's the person inserts themselves into your life to mess with you trope. Like Ma is a good example of that, where somebody just like gets into your life because it's like so relatable. You've always had like somebody like this. Like I had a boss. I don't want to get into it too much. A former boss.
You've
Anthony.
had somebody like this?
It was Anthony.
No, not like this.
Oh, okay.
But like
But
what I'm saying is
in the Ma
where they'll
situation.
just like you can't escape them. You know, they're just like
yeah.
in your life.
They're
Mm.
inviting themselves over to your
Yes,
house. They show up.
They're like
It's called the wife.
you're
There.
No, you're inviting that. You're inviting this person is like an invader.
They wear 2 pairs of shorts.
Oh,
And like when your personality
Oh my
type,
just kidding.
like where you just like kind of go with it, you're just like you don't want to like, you know, piss somebody off or whatever. You just want somebody to like you or whatever. Having like somebody like that enter your life is like nightmarish. It is a horror movie. Unlocked is about a girl who after a night of partying drops her cell phone on a bus, and it gets picked up by the absolute worst
the
person
worst
that
person.
could pick it up. And the events that follow are what happened, how this person that grabbed her cell phone,
Yeah,
what
so
you find out
basically,
about his
yeah, a
life
serial
and
killer
yes,
who's
I wasn't
very
sure
tech.
if I wanted to say if I wanted to give up the ghost right away. But
There was
you
no
do
ghost.
kind of
We already established that.
Well, he's a murderer.
But
for
yeah,
sure.
you do realize like very early on that what's going on, sort of what his deal is. That
He's
he's
not
a serial
the low-level
killer,
stalker. He's
and he uses social media to target and to
Beyond just that,
mess
he's
with his
destroy
victims'
their life
lives.
before he ends
yeah,
it.
it's a tech savvy killer that finds her lost phone. But beyond just social media, he installs spyware on her phone, and he's able to see her, hear her. He's able to record all of her conversations on her phone. Anything her phone can see or hear, he can see or
He
hear.
can remotely use it. He uses it to text her
code.
dad, who stupidly trusts her and downloads the spyware on. So then his phone is also can also be remotely used and monitored and all that stuff.
And I did like the fact that
And the guy is such a weasel too. He has like such a weaselly punchable face. When he smiles, man, you just want to slug that guy, man.
So I'm also laughing because as I started to talk, Anthony switched over to my camera, and then right away you started talking, and he had to switch back. So I just found that absolutely hilarious.
Good look at my face and talk about how much I wanted to punch the
Right.
bad guy in this movie.
I did like the fact that the bad guy in this movie is like obviously very tech savvy, very smart. He knows all this stuff, but at the same
He's
time,
covering his tracks as well as he's going.
but at the same time, his whole point, his whole reason for doing this is because with this technology, people are so quick to like just give up relationships, do all this stuff. So it's like he's also anti the tech that he's so good at.
I mean, that was like one of the parts of like. There's a couple things in this movie, like especially like later on, where the like my believability of the movie kind of like I'm like that's his motivation. Like I don't believe that like that character that's his actual motivation. You know what I mean? I feel like I don't know if that's just something that he said or if. But it just doesn't. He just kind of feels like a sadistic creep, you know.
That's
He doesn't.
What he is.
Yeah. But then he does this monologue and he says it to somebody who he's got tied up and everything. So, I mean, I don't know if it's something that he actually. But that's
No,
like
it was Lee Nami's dad that she said that to. But later on in the movie, he's talking that he wanted. I think he was planning on keeping the dad alive, possibly.
yeah, but he didn't get a text from her or anybody.
Yeah.
So he was going to kill her because
Right.
that was what the deal was.
But he's in character. He's playing the character. He wants to. This is a big spoiler for the movie. He wants to portray that he is. I can't think of the actual son's name of the detective, but
Right.
the serial killer's name is Oh Jun Young.
Yeah,
Jun
I
Young.
believe so.
I'm bad with names,
Mhm.
so you definitely can't. Wow. I felt like they tried to keep his motivation in too many lanes at once.
I felt like he was just
multiple
staying in
times.
character, but there was other avenues about him that was a mystery that the kind of explores to drop hints that, hey, this isn't who you think it is.
But
I gotcha.
because I felt like even at one point it felt like they tried to go into the motivation lane of like The Strangers. What made The Strangers such a big thing?
Yeah.
She's like, "Why are you doing all this to me?" He's like, "Because you dropped your phone." It's like, okay, so now you're trying to say, "Oh, it's very random," but also I'm trying to show you that you relied too much on this, and it's destroying you as a person. And also, I'm going to do this, and I don't know.
Golden, I would agree with you if I would agree with you if the fact existed that most of the people in the world don't rely on their cell phone, which isn't the case. They do. So he could pick anybody. That's basically what he's saying. It could be anybody.
I mean, and I'm not saying this is like I didn't like the movie for this reason because I know that I'm very well known for absolutely hating a movie for the dumbest reasons. I did like the movie, but I'm just saying I felt like they tried to give too many different motivations to why he was doing what he was doing. And I felt like if they would have just stuck with one, it would have made it better.
I feel like there's only two.
There's three, at least three.
There is?
There's maybe four. I don't know.
I don't know why you're looking at me. I
No,
did
I
not
just
bring up an
didn't
argument.
know if you picked up on something.
I like,
No,
how
like-
Anthony's like looking at Mr. Sir like
because it's like a
like I have any believability when I talk.
like I'm like, oh shit, maybe I missed something. Did you pick up on something? That
No,
was the
like
look.
the one, like what I was saying is the
I'm gonna go cry off
I
camera.
because I think like a cleaner version of it is he's just doing it because he found the phone or whatever, and it's all like sort of arbitrary, like or is whatever and all that stuff. I feel like that was kind of sort of just shoehorned in.
Yeah.
That was sort of my point. Not
So
not that it felt like, I just didn't feel like that was like a part of his thing.
Right. So like my takeaway was he doesn't have an existence. He doesn't have a shoot, brain fart. He doesn't have a identity.
Okay.
So this is why he's so obsessed with the cell phone thing, and it plays into his sadistic nature as well as the nature of evil. He's choosing to pick these victims by the cell phone if he finds it because he doesn't have it. He's nothing. He's like an empty slate. So he enjoys playing these characters and injecting themselves in their lives and creating emotions and stuff that he's not able to feel himself, but he can
Right.
experience it through other people.
I gotcha.
One thing I was like thinking about during, and I wanted to bring up, and I feel like this is something that I felt I lost because of the fact that I don't know the language, and because there's only so much they can do with subtitles. But like when they
We're
were trying
talking English here, right?
when they were showing his like when the part where it's really showing how obsessed he was and how in depth it was, like so they're showing his notepads and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
The fact that I have no idea what was written on that because they didn't translate it. But
True.
like if I'm watching it and it's in English and the
Some of it
person's
was-
writing in English, being able to pick up on some things, because I'm willing to bet there was something on those notepads that probably was like so inconsequential that it really showed how much of a sociopath he was. But we lost that. We didn't have that because
True.
I can't read that. Like I would have had a hard
Right.
time reading if that whole thing was in English but at least I would have picked up on a couple things. So I feel like that is something that you maybe lose by
Yeah.
not
So
knowing that language.
so like a part of how he is able to do all this is he steals her phone, smashes the like screen on it after he install or whatever. Because there's a lock on it. Smashes the screen.
I think that was more just let 1 second. I'm just going to interject here. I think that to me at that moment, that was more of him just trying to see if he could guess it for the heck of it. He was going to break that phone no matter what.
Okay. And he runs a dummy like cell phone repair place out of like a real scary part of town. Like but she needs her phone, so she doesn't have a choice but to go there and get the phone and everything. And from there he learns what her pin code is, and then now just it clones her phone, and now he also has a phone. And you see like, and all this stuff is sort of intercut with a crime, these detectives finding crime scenes of some of his previous victims,
Just a
and
forest of dead people.
And the one older detective seems particularly disturbed by it, and you learn it's because he believes his son is the one that is doing all this stuff.
When the detective's son was born, they planted a plum tree in a very remote location that most people just don't go to. It's a remote mountain, and the son, at least you get the idea, the son became obsessed with the idea of plum trees and used to use plant food a lot. And so they find plant food vials in the ground by where they found the body, So that's why the detective's like, no, it can't be. But then he's going on. He's thinking, yeah, okay, it's my son. And then at the reveal, at least the soft reveal, his the detective and his partner set up a trap with Lee Nami, the main character, to capture Oh Jun Young. And when he's in the street, he has him turn around. The detective does. He's like, "Son, turn around, blah blah. I'm gonna shoot you to death because I got a gun and you don't." And the killer turns around and he's like, "Oh shit, sorry. I thought you were someone else."
I mean, that was like a nice plot twist. Because you didn't see that coming, and honestly,
Really?
like,
because I kind of had a hunch.
sort of like I had a, well, at that point I was like, because I saw I saw the time code, and I was like, they're wrapping this up a little too like early. This feels like,
Well, I knew it wasn't going to wrap up there, but
yeah.
remember the scene with where the dad first goes to the apartment where he learns where the detective, has been estranged from his son for 7 years. His son ran away and he hasn't heard from him. So he finds out where the son's been staying and he goes there, but they never meet face to face at all whatsoever. And the son only sees the detective never sees the son. I thought that was really weird.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I not like 2020. Now that I know what happened at the movie,
No, it's
like, obviously
2023.
there's
2023, Mr. Sir.
I mean,
You missed a
you wouldn't
couple
have
New
seen
Years.
anything in there the back in 2020.
Oh my god,
He's-
forgot what I was talking about. Anyways,
We were talking about the plot twist.
the
soft
What the
plot twist.
twist?
The soft reveal.
one of the things that also like sort of brought me out of the movie a slightly was like how dumb the cops were near the end. Like that part where they didn't even bother looking at his ID or anything was,
Well, because it was a police brutality thing. They pointed a gun at him without identifying him.
I mean, yeah.
And that
But
In other countries,
I'm
that's not
unaware.
okay.
Well, yeah, I'm unaware of what South Korea's laws are, but I've heard they've had really, really, really strict laws when it comes.
But
to
it's still at the same point. You're there setting a trap for this person, and the whole point of them.
At that point, they realize it's the wrong person.
Well, obviously,
They still
realize
think
it
it's
wrong,
his son.
But
Well, it's the wrong
Well,
person
it's
that
still
they're
the fact
looking
that you're
for.
setting up that
They're
trap.
still looking for his son.
The point of that
Yeah,
trap
'cause
is
they're-
to
well,
get
they're
somebody in this
singularly-
area that nobody should be in that area at that point.
I mean, that's a
So you still should
well,
check.
I mean,
there's a lot of
that's a
apartments.
hallmark of bad police work as well, is they have their sights set on one singular person.
Yeah, they're
instead
forcing
of,
the narrative.
yeah,
They're like,
which almost costs them 2 people's lives.
Well, the whole movie, the detective's like riding the line of getting in trouble.
Yeah,
Because he's not reporting anything. He wants to catch it
by the book.
He wants to catch.
He's too old for
his
this
son
shit.
himself.
Yeah, he's also too old for this shit.
is he going to retire the next day? Do you think? I'm one day from retirement. I'm too old for this shit.
I'm guessing he took in the.
one day from
I'm
retirement.
guessing he took the blame for the shooting. I can't remember what it said at the end. Did it say she did it, or did it say he did it?
I don't remember. Well, she's in the
Coffee shop, right?
coffee shop at the end, and everybody's supporting her
But they're-
because she lived
yeah.
or whatever.
There's a, man, we do this so early. There's a narrative,
I'm still asleep.
a voiceover for the newscast,
Right.
and
I do not remember it.
Okay.
I don't think
I
it
remember
really
at the end they
matters,
just zoned
honestly.
in on
No, I
the
was just
one girl's
curious.
face.
Yeah, because I mean,
Didn't they? I
yeah, they did.
was like, I'm not remembering it wrong, am I?
No, they're like sort of setting up like
A sequel.
another Unlocked.
Unlocked 2. Relocked.
maybe.
No, it's just like
Re-unlocked.
another Unlocked, like another 48 hours.
It's just a whole chat room of those guys.
I mean,
That's what I was thinking. Like,
No, I just think it's.
would you? But that it could be like, because they did like say, I don't know if it was like because they don't tell the cops when they find out who the next target is or whatever. I don't know, because she reports her cell phone stolen or whatever, and that somebody has hacked her. They don't let on that they think that it's the serial killer. She thinks that her stuff is just being like posted on the dark web or whatever, and she says something that made it sound like there was like some sort of like Syndicate or something. I don't remember.
Oh, really? I didn't pick up
Yeah,
on
she
that.
made some. She said like, oh, it's they're posting it on something, and it sounded like maybe like people were like selling
I think she's just mentioning like
naked
a
pictures
website
or
where you
something.
can get stuff like that. Yeah.
naked pictures. of
But I think
people.
the last shot of her is just my takeaway is that yeah, she suffered this ordeal, but no matter what, technology is dangerous and it's still out there and it's always on you as long as you're around it.
I think
Unlock 2 is now the cell phone is the killer. It's like Skynet.
cell phones don't
Phone's
kill
alive,
people. People kill
self-aware.
people.
That would be a jump.
And
It's Unlock 2 is just like a sci-fi dystopian like it's like Pulse 2.
can we take a moment to talk about let's say
Absolutely
you
not.
work for a company, right?
Okay.
And your boss calls
You
you
work
into
for
your
oh my
boss
God.
calls you into her office, and her office consists of just the boxes that you sell. So then you guys both just decide to sit on the boxes
Whoa,
and have a chat.
was that
Would that throw you
that
off a
her
little bit?
office?
I think it seemed like it
it's
was.
just the warehouse where they store the product.
Where
she
they then
wanted to be
sit
in
on the
private.
product.
Yeah, she just wanted to be in private.
This is why my packages get
She's
to the house
offering
and they're
her
fucked
a
up.
raise and saying, "Please don't tell anybody else." 'Cause I
She's
can't
saying,
afford to give
she's saying,
everybody
hey,
a raise.
yeah, you of course you can't afford it. She can't even afford chairs. She's
No,
like, here, just pull
because
up
they're
this
in the
box. We're just
freaking
gonna sit.
warehouse.
No,
Wait. Golden, in the times that you worked at the video game store or at the comic book store, you never sat on a box?
no.
You're a liar. I could see on your face.
Boxes in the
You're
places
full
I
of
worked were,
crap.
Yeah,
were
they would-
definitely not load bearing
Yeah,
enough
they
to
would
load
crumble.
that.
Really?
Yeah, those GameStop
they were
boxes.
really
Well,
bad. And then like,
I-
you'd be like,
I-
oh, Golden, why'd you break all these games? Like I didn't.
I will say that I've worked at places where you store things in boxes,
I don't
and I
trust
have
boxes.
100% sat my fat ass on those.
Maybe you
I
could
don't
sit
trust
on like
boxes
a console
enough.
box or something.
I don't
but
trust boxes enough at all.
box of
I feel like
PS4s back then, but or PS3s.
I definitely
But
wouldn't sit on those.
those video game ones that came in, they would just crumple.
Really?
Even in your
Yeah.
hand, yeah.
Why would they ship video games and such?
Ask Golden, they came in damaged all
Let me
the
ask you a
time
question.
because of it.
Why would they send us a box that was this big, and inside it would be one card,
Yeah, I know.
and then a
Like
lot
a
of
gift
and
card. A gift
bubble
card.
tape, like a ton of bubble tape, because like, oh, we can't have this card get crushed. But then they send like breakable stuff.
Or brand new video games with no bubble tape.
Yeah,
Yeah, when I worked,
Or the bubble tape on top of the box. That's it.
my favorite thing was when I worked
Water
at
damage.
Spirit Halloween, and we would occasionally get stuff that was mixed in accidentally from Spencer's. So we would get like, oh, here's some Nightmare Before Christmas costume. Oh, here's a mask from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Oh, here's a G-string made out of candy necklaces and stuff. Oh, here's
yeah, those would be
here's
horrible.
some
When you
flavored lube.
When you worked at was it Spirit?
Yeah,
How did you just not blow your whole paycheck every week?
dude,
That
it
must have been
was-
so tough.
mighty
honestly.
Might-
I
bold
there-
of you to assume he
there-
didn't.
yeah, I mean there was one where I like went ham, but I was the store manager, so I was there all the time. I got real sick of seeing that stuff, and you kind of after a little while you resent that stuff. So you're like I like this, but if I never have to see it again in my entire life, I wouldn't be mad.
That's funny though, because like I used to work at Hollywood Video way back, obviously because it was Hollywood Video. Every time
Where
we,
you did
like,
not sit on any
I did
boxes.
not, because
In
there was
Los
precious
Angeles.
stuff inside there. But I would I always worked the shipment day, so the days that boxes would come
Oh,
in.
fun.
And I was always like, it's like Christmas for me, because
Oh fuck.
I mean, obviously all the big titles are coming in, but there was always a bunch of titles that you've never heard of.
Oh,
And like, so I'd open it up and
I
I'd see that. And then also there was like the for sale movies that would come in, that like it would always be only one of them. It'd be like a special edition. Like they had one, it was the Hughes collection. So it was like 16 Candles, Weird Science, Breakfast Club, and it came in like a 3-ring binder.
Ooh,
special
that's
edition.
cool.
So I'm like, there's only one of them. I'm like, oh, well, look at that. That one's mine. So I would always have I had a special box in the back that was my stuff.
So
on payday, that I would just bring it back up and go, okay, I'm picking up all my stuff now.
So
I had a store manager like that.
Broke.
The store that I did blow my every paycheck that I worked at
Hot Topic
was Hot Topic. Yeah, and when I was working there is when the Devil's Rejects script book came out. That big one that oh man, we got our store got like 10 of them, and I bought like I don't think a customer was able to buy that. I think pretty much everybody that worked there bought I bought one. I still have it at my house. It's signed by Rob Zombie.
The thing is, too, you can't even get mad about that because if you've ever worked retail, you know that you deserve that little bonus.
Oh,
you deserve that
absolutely. Yeah.
Because you have to put up with some of the, and especially I can only imagine a Hot Topic what you had to deal with.
Fridays were
as
the
a
worst.
customer being like, I mean, I remember there was a time that it was when I was in the Army.
Anime kids come in.
I would go to Hot Topic constantly.
They were called the anime kids. You know who they were too.
Oh, yeah.
They had like fox ears on.
At GameStop, we called that the
buy
nerd
anything.
cloud. They would just come in and they'd be like, and there was always one with a lisp, and it would always be like, all I'm saying is, any YouTube is very unrealistic because of this, and like they would just come in and you could see the cloud.
Yeah,
and it's bad because there is a hierarchy when it comes to nerds.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the fact that I could look at these kids and go, God, these guys are fucking nerds. And I mean, I'm far from like the fucking jock,
dude. I'm working there. I'm wearing like an ICP t-shirt. And I see this kid coming in with like all of his little nerdlinger friends, black trench coat with a top hat. I'm like, God damn, you're a fucking nerd.
It's awesome. The hierarchy.
They don't buy anything. They lurk in the mall for hours. They'll buy like a patch or a sticker.
I'm just thinking of you as like the goth version of fucking Ben Affleck and Mallrats. Fucking shiftless layabouts, not buying anything. I take you to fashionable mail. That's all I can think now.
Yeah, that was me. Listen, the customer is always an asshole. I was like a mix between Ben Affleck and Randall.
Yeah, you're just beating up Golden every day in the mall.
Like, listen, you fuck. Take you to see Deflator Mouse. Take you shopping in the stores you want to shop at. That's all I can think of. Because it felt like it was like your version of his rant in the movie. And now that's like in my head.
I don't have a problem with super nerds or like anime or anything like that in general. But working at a store and having to deal with those freaks for hours where they're not buying anything, they're walking around and they're just the most annoying fucks ever.
Yeah, they're just kids their parents wanted to.
No. What literally would happen is their moms would drop them off at the mall around like 5 o'clock and then come around at 9 o'clock and pick them up. So they would just be at the mall for hours or whatever, and we were their babysitters.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was. The mall at the time was a lot busier.
Man. Imagine being the janitor on duty that's got to clean the
Absolutely
food
not. That would
until he gets
suck.
killed by robots.
Trying to mop the floor.
It was funny though, because like when I used to work at the comic shop, and we were sitting there, and it was my day off, and we went there. I went there with a couple friends, to buy some stuff, and I think we were doing a tournament too. But like I was looking at something, and all of a sudden I heard this kid and talking to his friends, and you could tell like he was like the alpha of the group, but it was because they were still at the age where
King nerd.
They were at the age where like the fat kid could be the leader of the group because
he's the most powerful. The most powerful one.
So like I'm just looking at do stuff, and he said something about he goes, Nightwing's just a blatant ripoff of Kick-Ass. And I jumped up and I go, and it's so funny because I snapped into I went right into a movie quote without realizing it. But I'm like, I go, did you just fucking say that? I go, oh yeah, and obviously Moby Dick was just a blatant ripoff of the movie Jaws, right? And I'm like yelling in the way I do when I rage. And then I just stopped, went back to what I was doing. And I look up, and all of a sudden, like, all the kids are there except for him. he's gone. I go, what happened to that kid? And his friend goes, he ran home. He thought you were going to hit him. I'm like, dude's 14. Come on. I'm not going to just punch him. I mean, plus there's a lot of stuff in the way and I don't want to move around
rip
it.
off a kick ass.
Yeah, like I was like, how do you? And then the funny thing was the movie that I referenced, I mean, most people probably have never even seen. So it's because it was Overnight Delivery, which has wonderful Paul Rudd.
No idea.
Before he was that well known. It was Paul Rudd and Reese Witherspoon. And it was one of those, oh, they hate each other in the beginning of the movie, then they're in love by the end.
Yeah, it's like that early 2000s.
It's a good movie.
rom-com.
I mean, you should check it out. Because basic premise is
I'm not going to check it out, but
why not?
it
It's
is
Paul Rudd.
actually
It's Ant-Man.
I'm
It's a
telling
good
you right
movie.
now, it's really not what you're thinking.
Yeah.
okay.
The whole thing
Is he
is that
pregnant?
no,
He has to give birth.
Yeah, he's pregnant with AIDS.
It's a high
he
concept.
thinks that like his long distance girlfriend was cheating on him, so he gets angry about it, and they send a package, like overnight delivery to her, like which had like it was like talking about how horrible she was and how he's been banging this other chick this whole time, and then the next morning he finds out that it was all a misunderstanding, that she wasn't cheating on him.
This is the plot
So
to
he
a road
tries to-
trip.
So he tries to get to the
Kind of.
package before it gets there, and
That is exactly
No,
what
it's
happens in
not.
Road Trip. Yes, it is.
and then but here's the
That
thing:
is what-
you know who the package delivery driver is? It's the bad dude from Darkman.
I mean, it's not played out the same way.
Oh,
at
Larry
all.
Drake.
Is that the actor?
Yeah. Larry Drake
It
is
probably
But
was trying to like they get those similar scripts. It probably was the movie that came out around the same time as Road Trip.
Yeah, this came out way before Road Trip, I bet.
You
overnight.
think so?
If only I
Road
had IMDb right here. I'm gonna find out. You guys discuss.
I'm
your
pretty
own.
sure Road Trip came out in like 2001. That was because it had Tom Green in it, and that was like his first like movie thing.
Yeah.
So it was pre Freddy Got Fingered. We haven't talked about Unlocked in a minute.
Yeah, I know.
And
So
2000 was Road Trip.
okay, so Anthony, what did you think?
1998 was Overnight Delivery.
Oh, 2 years.
2 years is like a millennia in the movie industry. I don't know what you're talking about.
What? No, it
I'm
isn't.
just saying stuff. Just saying stuff because I refuse to be told I was wrong.
It's not
Because-
dog years.
Because Nightwing is a blatant ripoff of Kick-Ass.
Okay.
Yes, they both have.
What I
sticks.
really enjoyed about this movie and what I think set it a step above, because this movie does hit a lot of the standard formula for
Right.
a horror thriller. What I think this movie does great is the use of thematic elements, because it has more than one theme going on throughout the whole movie. You got like the limits of parental love. You got technology is evil. You got the nature
Right.
of evil. I mean, there's at least 4 or 5 that I had come up with.
Yeah,
I'm not
and
gonna open my phone to get
yeah,
it, but
and
I can't call it off the top of my head.
it's not just the relationship between the detective and his estranged son, but also the main character and her dad, who's running the coffee shop.
Well, I was thinking about like the parental limits itself, like that's the whole running B story for the
What-
movie.
You mean
I
like
got
when you can't watch certain movies on Netflix because you don't have the code that your parents put on there? That's the limits of parental love.
Yes.
You can
I
Did
think
you
I-
ever figure out the
You can only
password
watch-
your
Still
mom
haven't.
put
I can
on your
only watch
Netflix?
G-rated.
I can watch
really bad.
Coco Melon, and that's it.
Bluey. God, I love Bluey.
Anthony, can I get your login? My mom won't let me watch
So,
Unlocked.
I own all the subscription services. I just have to borrow your guys' logins so that I can watch things that are rated
Wait,
more
what?
than G. That's all.
Mom, please, it's for the podcast.
Come on, Ma. You don't.
Well, if you got a podcast, it should be about nice stuff because you're sending a message out to the world. Okay, Golden?
Like my mom would ever watch me in a podcast. She's embarrassed enough about me. Like it was so like my mom was at my like the last movie premiere I did was the first one that my mom came to. And at no time am I like, oh, I can't believe my mom doesn't come here. Like I she's very supportive, but I don't see her coming to those because
Right.
let's be honest, she doesn't like the kind of stuff I make.
No, she's
She
not
just
the
doesn't.
audience.
No, she's definitely not the audience.
no.
So
She so shows her support enough.
oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like I'm not.
Right,
I'll make
no.
jokes about like my mom hating me, but she does love me because she
Yeah,
has
yeah.
to by law. But so she showed up to this, and I made a joke. Like I was like, Mom, is this the first one of my movies you've ever seen? Because and she's bought all the DVDs, and she's like, no, I've seen all your movies. I'm like, why? But then I wasn't even thinking about the fact that we put in the last anthology, Skeleton Xylophone, we put a short in that we had made before and put into the film festival circuit, and we just added it in because it was like, oh, we've not had this in a movie, let's put it in.
It was the one in the cafe, right? With our friend Jeremy.
No, that one we had planned on.
Oh, okay. I thought
Unbridled.
that. Oh, okay.
The really disturbing one.
Yeah.
We're in it at one point in the movie, and I had forgotten about this being in it. I had forgotten about this scene until it came up in the movie, and I realized that my mom is in the theater, and there's a scene where my character just starts jerking off, and then the ghost of his dead mom is like berating him, telling him what a horrible piece of shit he is, and he's just cry jerking, and I'm just watching this going, fuck, my mom is watching this on a big screen right now with my aunt and other people, and I'm like,
aren't you proud?
Golden, did you use a prosthetic, or was it just all you?
Oh, we used the laptop that blocked it, but I went all in on it, and including I grabbed a tissue.
You went all in on it.
I had to grab a tissue afterwards.
Really?
And you're like, is he using it to wipe his tears? And oh no, he's not.
Yeah, you got all the cast and crew on you, and you're just sitting there hammering on it.
It was a close set. We only had like 5 or 6 people.
Use one of those fake dongs that they used in those ones where the guys.
Well, that's just so people could see it, because they weren't going to see the real thing.
How's that conversation work with the director, Mike? You're like, Mike, we need a close set tomorrow. Why, Golden?
Mike was like, I got to get my ultra zoom going.
I'm gonna really jerk it on camera.
Just fucking just go. I'm gonna.
You know that super macro lens we got? Put that on the camera too.
Fisheye lens, make it look really girthy. But yeah, so like my mom was just like, afterwards, she's like, I love you, but that was probably the weirdest fucking thing I've ever had to watch. I'm like, I'm sorry, Mom. I forgot it was in there. I was like,
it's not even just weird for her. It's weird for anybody that's gonna watch that.
It's weird. It was weird for me too to sit there in a theater filled with people, knowing that they're watching and going, I wonder if that's how he really does it. And it is. Just start crying. I was like, boo. She's like,
crying before, during, and after.
That's how you do it.
So Golden, how did you feel about Unlocked?
Honestly, I mean, I think obviously one of the things that really makes it more disturbing is the fact that this can absolutely happen to anybody.
Yeah,
it's very grounded in reality, and I mean, obviously, there's probably certain things that aren't likely to happen, but it could. And like when you think about how many times, like, because a lot of times she didn't even have her cell phone on; she was just had it, and he tapped into the camera and he was watching the stuff and it's
listening
like,
to her.
You realize, like, I mean, first of all, I feel bad if someone was to do that to me. I feel bad for how much they'd have to watch me on the toilet.
Well, you know that happens.
Scrolling through things. I'm sure it has.
No,
not
like
to me. Like if it happened to me, then I feel bad.
Companies do watch and listen.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
I can tell you that just by looking at my Facebook scroll.
Because they have agreements with the cell phone or distributors or whoever, but they have agreements.
Yeah, I mean, and Samsung is a big one.
Oh yeah,
I also have a cell phone, but their TVs were like, they got dinged for their TVs, like also listening to you and stuff. Like, what the like, why would your TV need to listen to you?
They want to hear what you're
they know what
Look, I know why they're doing it, but it doesn't make it okay.
No, it doesn't.
I'm okay.
I know why they're doing it.
I would be okay with all these companies monitoring every fucking conversation I have and everything if they would at least get their algorithm right and advertise stuff to me that I haven't already bought.
Oh boy, here we go.
That's all they do. They advertise shit to me that I already bought every time.
The soapbox is coming out
every single time. Hey, you know what? You should try. Hey, Golden, I think you'd like this. Obviously, I like it. I just fucking bought it, you dumbass.
I wish there was
something different.
I honestly, I'm with Golden on this one.
I wish there was a green screen thing so we could put like a brick wall. So you like, this is part of his Dennis Leary stand-up set.
It just comes up behind
or
Dennis
Amazon.
Leary 2023.
I like how you said a green
Coffee
screen.
flavored coffee.
I like how you said green screen, so we could put like a brick wall behind me, as opposed to just putting up a brick wall behind me. Like,
or Amazon,
like,
Golden. I don't know how much experience you've had with this, where you buy something and it's like, based off your browsing history, we think you'd like these last 5 movies and books that you bought. Why don't you buy them again?
Right.
I only need one.
Yeah, the purchase again thing is absolutely hilarious. Like, oh, I see that you bought a magnetic goose.
My purchase
Do
again
you need more?
almost always looks like my recommended purchase.
On one hand,
based off of
I do totally get what you're saying. However, sometimes I buy like action figure stands, and it would be like, do you want to buy these again? I'm like,
That's
actually, yes, I
understandable.
do.
That's fair, but because like I realize that this is what's going to happen.
Underwear. I mean, that's like a lot of stuff. I'm just devil's advocate.
Oh yeah, I get
that. Not even that. Like,
because it doesn't annoy me as much as it does you guys.
Like Evil Dead, there's how many collections? You want to offer me a different one that I don't own, or you don't know that I own? That's okay. Don't offer me the same fucking DVD I just bought.
Right, and that's the thing too. Like, and because I'm not going to sit here and complain like everybody loves to complain about they need to stop. Like, I don't know how many times we'll see someone go, "Oh, craziest thing happened. I was talking to my friends about Walt Disney World, and all of a sudden Facebook is advertising Walt Disney World." Like,
you do that yourself.
Know that happens.
You do that yourself.
It's like, you know that happens. It's like, my complaint is,
yeah. I already
use it.
How is that a pet peeve for you?
I don't do that. No, I complain that they're offering stuff to me that I already bought.
No, you're like, oh, remember how we were talking about this? Look what popped up on my Facebook. You've done it a dozen times.
I purposely say random shit by people's cell phones just to make them get it.
I've been saying that for a long, long time, and everyone used to be like, Mr. Sir, you are paranoid. You are, I was like, I remember I was hanging out with Andrew once. This is how long ago it was. And
old co-host from home.
Yes. I started getting advertisements on my thing for the Oculus Rift. Now, I'm not a gamer. I never talked about this ever. However, I was hanging out with Andrew and he has one and he was talking about it. So my phone listened to me. And that was like one of the first times I was like, this was extremely specifically targeted to this because it listened to, and everyone was like, not everyone, but I was labeled as being paranoid, and it's not true. It is absolutely happening. Now everybody know. Now it's like obvious, and everybody knows about it. So I guess.
So I wasn't 100% on it until a few years ago, and I don't want to single anybody out. I was in Golden. I was in a situation where I had let my friend borrow my laptop, and he took it into his bedroom or whatever, and I didn't get it back like all day, and I was like, okay, whatever. That's gross, but so later on Facebook, because I would get like Match ads all the time, or different dating sites, but all the dating sites that are popping up are for like same sex, like gay dudes, you know.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. They think I'm gay because I bust jokes all the time, whatever. And it doesn't bother me. But then I'm thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, my friend had my laptop in his bedroom. What kind of porn was he looking at?
There you go.
I was like, well, maybe I am gay.
All right. Well, actually, because I want to spend a little more time on Evil Dead, so I want to wrap this one up.
I thought you'd be like, I want to spend some time.
No.
Unlocked guys.
I thought there was a point you wanted to get to.
No, I think we both you guys kind of talked about what you guys liked about the movie. I liked it too. I was more on board with it like initially. Once it got to the halfway point, like some of the stuff, like it kind of, I don't know, the reveal, the plot twist and everything was good. I just felt like, like the cop character was kind of, that kind of stuff was kind of sloppy. It just felt like it was a little, some stuff kind of was like a little convenient. See, like I like the movie a lot.
To me, the cop thing, and I'm not trying to.
No, you're good.
Devalue your opinion, but to me,
that's a great visual point.
To me, the cop character, it made sense to me, and I didn't feel it was sloppy. I felt like a guy that's been on the force for probably 30 years,
Too old for this shit,
is gonna do things his way, and he's gonna get away with a lot more than your typical
Right.
average detective.
And I did, and it kind of won me back a little bit when it was like revealed like a part of the serial killer's thing was to mess with the cop as well, and it made it look like he was the one that was like destroying the crime scenes and stuff, and made it look like he flooded
yeah.
it and stuff.
And the business card that he gave her that said no text, call only.
Yes, yeah, that I did like. That was
a redeeming value.
Yeah,
for their
I did
ignorance.
I did like that. It was a good point. Good. I thank you for bringing that up. That was something I was like, how the hell is she going to get out of this? And they did when she crumples the thing up and drops it earlier. I was like, what was on?
Well, yeah, because I was like, because the cop gives it to her. I was like, why did she crumple up that card he gave her? And
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out. That one got me. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
that
okay,
was-
okay,
that
you
was-
got me. If I could read,
you could read.
if I could
He
read,
stops there. It's like that's probably not a good
if I
place
could
to
read,
pause.
I could study the whatever the
Words.
the written languages for South Korea. I could study that and maybe be able to read that one day and know what was going on there. But
You're not gonna read all his notes. That's
So
one thing I just wanted to get to
Sure.
super fast, I
Right,
forgot
right,
to
right.
bring up. There's been an online thing, and it's not huge, but people are
Okay.
saying because of Netflix's shared algorithm or whatever, most people are shutting this movie off at 9 minutes and 30 seconds because it's so scary. I think what is happening.
That's what this movie was. I forgot
Yeah.
that you told me.
That's
that.
one of them. The other one's eerie.
I think I saw that movie.
What I think's happening is this isn't what they're expecting.
no. Like
yeah. They're probably like Golden. They thought it was a supernatural thing.
I mean, and I realized like as I'm watching, going, oh, there's no ghosts, and I realized like, well, that's on me. like obviously the
Right.
entire country isn't just like no, all we make is supernatural.
I
horror
honestly
movies.
didn't know what to expect.
like they
with
have
it
other
either.
movies.
I had no expectations going in. I didn't really know what the actual like gist of the story was. I went in totally cold, and I liked it a lot. I if I was to recommend it, I would.
I think I go into like every
Yeah.
movie with super expectations.
I wouldn't super recommend this.
and then I sometimes watch the wrong.
Yeah,
movie and it makes
no,
it fun.
like this is like a good, like, you won't feel like your time was wasted or anything. It's a good, like, like
I gave it 1 thumb on Netflix. You know,
I definitely think it's. I mean, it is a slow burn, and I think maybe it really is a. Slow
This is
burn.
not a
That's
slow
what I'm calling
burn.
a slow burn. Yeah, that's what I call a
This
slow burn.
no, there's stuff happening.
Nothing blew up in
throughout.
2 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it was a really good movie.
think
and it-
Golden, when you think of just real quick, I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm not
Are you?
sorry, but
I
I
was gonna say, I was
apologize.
like-
I apologize for cutting you off. When you're trying to figure out if something's a slow burn or not, think of a stick of dynamite. It's setting everything up, or all the dominoes are getting set up for the very end of the movie so they can all fall over.
yeah, that's what this did.
It did not. Kind of a little bit. but
I have really bad ADHD, so like sometimes
it is slower
for
paced.
me, if it's anything that's a slower pace, I just go, that's a slow burn.
But it's
You-
only
you like
slower paced
Renfield. That
because
movie
they're-
is like
they're adding emotional drama.
I'm like the old person that goes into the game store and goes, that my grandson has a Nintendo. Oh, what kind? Xbox Nintendo.
Well-
like it's all a slow burn. All the things are.
I think
If it doesn't like just go over the top crazy in the first 2 minutes, I'm just like, oh, that's a slow burn.
so that's a good thing that we're going to be talking about a movie that is in no
The
way,
biggest
shape,
slow
or
burn in
form-
history.
This is
Not
not
a
a
way,
slow burn.
shape, or form a slow burn.
Nope.
2013's Evil
All
Dead.
right.
We're going to be
Basically,
talking
what
about
I'm saying
that
is,
next.
if I don't have a cold open, then it's a slow burn.
Well,
let's just be honest. That's
for Horror Dork, I'm Anthony.
I'm Mr. Sir.
I'm slow burn Groves.